And we're back with Truth Unrestricted, the podcast that is, what are we doing here, Patrick? What is this podcast about?
Well, we're discussing Unreality on film.
Yeah. We are, and more generally, though, we're creating and interpreting the language of the disinformation age. And
What is that?
right, today we are talking about unreality on film, the ways in which things that are not real but are meant to look real, which technically is all of fiction, right? It's meant to look real, but it isn't real. But in these specific cases, we're looking at things that are looking like the real life things that are unreal.
And they're kind of like they're devices that could migrate into reality if people aren't careful about how they use them.
Yeah. I just did, as we record this, I released an episode just last night, less than 24 hours ago. About
subjective reality.
Yeah. It was, I really cranked it up on that one.
It was good.
I made sure that I got some people's brains humming. But yeah, how we look at reality. I mean, your reality is just your subjective reality is your reality. And
I just thought of a new possible byline: Truth Unrestricted, pressing the gas pedal on your brain.
Okay, all right. No, I'll put that on the list. I'll put that on the list for the next time we switch it up. Okay, so we are here. We're going to talk about the Manchurian Candidate today, and actually, the next time that people are going to hear and see us on this podcast, we'll also be talking about the Manchurian Candidate because there was so much that it's going to be 2 episodes. So yeah, it was 2 movies also. So that's part of the reason why, but it's not like we're doing one movie in one episode and the other movie in the other episode because we get a little repetitive. So both times we're doing both movies. It's a whole thing.
Cool.
Yeah. So, what did you think of these movies, Patrick, that I made you watch, tied you to a chair and propped open your eyelids and made you watch them?
I'm picturing the robot chicken intro.
Is it a take on the Clockwork Orange scene?
Yeah,
where
maybe. Yeah.
Eyes are propped open, little eyedroppers are put in his eyes, so he watches the whole thing.
Yeah. What I thought of the movies, for me, it was really interesting watching the first version of the movie because I've never watched anything with Frank Sinatra in it.
Yeah.
Right. And, he's one of these legendary characters of both music and film from back in the day, old Blue Eyes.
Entertainment in general, right? Like live shows and the works. Yeah.
But, it was interesting to watch the aspects of filmography, the cinematography of it, and to kind of compare the older version to the newer version, just in terms of, there's more thought going on that kind of filmography front by the time we get into the 2000s.
Cinematography, how they use the camera and the angles and the zooming in on certain things and
actor reactions.
Like they weren't trying to cut everything when they were doing it analog because it was like manual splicing, right? It was very difficult to do. So they,
it drew an interesting comparison as well. Just where we kind of drew some of the cultural lines between, what's acceptable on the screen.
Oh yeah. We're gonna good catch. Yeah. The 1962 version, it's got some racism in there. It's got things that are just not acceptable weren't the 2004 version. There was a lot of things that just weren't any more acceptable in the 2004 version. But like as a society, we just weren't putting that sort of thing in movies. But you had all kinds of racist stereotypes coming through, and these were just parts of movies in 1962. There was a real kind of look backward at that. But I think we would be remiss in not mentioning it for real because it's not subtle. It doesn't feel subtle anyway. Right.
Yeah. You're immediately thinking about how well it's aged or not well, right? So
for sure, right? I mean, and this movie, I mean, I would prefer to compare it to we're comparing these 2 movies to each other. the movie and the remake. But I would almost prefer to compare it to like The Exorcist instead, because that's more what this movie in 1962 was going for. I want to scare the audience with some kind of magical thing that they don't know how it works, and it's meant to show people how vulnerable they really are, right? And
Yeah.
that could easily describe both the original Manchurian Candidate and also The Exorcist equally. Like, you wouldn't know, like, if I just left those descriptions there and then left the two movies there, you wouldn't really know which one I was really talking about, right? So that's kind of more what they were going for. They weren't trying to make a political message of any kind. Not really. Like some moments in there are kind of like that. There's moments in there about, that seem to be obvious references to McCarthy, right? Joseph McCarthy. I mean, the talk of the communists, and the one scene, there's a guy, he's a politician. He's we should give spoiler warnings. Fuck it. 1962. You had time to watch this movie.
Yeah. I think this entire sub-series is a spoiler warning of sorts, right?
Yeah. Full spoilers.
Do not watch a show about a show if you haven't watched the show that show is about.
It's in the title.
Advice for life. Yeah.
It's in the title. Yeah. And 2004 is 22 years ago now. It's statute of limitations is over on that. But yeah, you have what was I just talking about when I got talking about that?
The comparison between the original Manchurian Candidate and The Exorcist.
Yeah.
And the kind of
the way that they weren't making individual like a political, they didn't have like a political message or political theme really. Except for, like, they did have the one character who was a politician railing on about communism and about how there are communists in the whatever State Department or whatever, and he keeps, in the same interview, that he keeps throwing out a different number of communists in like a 1.5 minute span. I'm not using that clip. We're not talking about it today, but he's just like, and everyone's like, how many were there? How many? And the number keeps changing, goes up, it goes down. And it's like, no one knows how many. And the guy who's saying it doesn't even know how many, like, and it's almost comical. Like they in 1962, Joseph McCarthy and the whole Red Scare, technically the Red Scare was still happening, but McCarthyism as a thing was just a few years past being done. So I think they were obviously aiming for that, right? But it wasn't like a central part of the movie, really. So yeah, I mean, this is more like a horror movie than like a political thriller, in my opinion, because what they really want is to scare the audience. So yeah, I mean, that's what that looks like. As far as comparisons to the 2004 version, I mean, obviously it's much better. Most of the actors are better in the newer version, I think. I have trouble imagining that there are many actors better than Denzel Washington, really. I mean, he's good all the way around. Every role, all the time. Yeah. Like, and you mentioned Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra was good. Like, he was legitimately good. And fun part about this, Frank Sinatra had it written in his contract. Like, he owns this movie. He starred in the movie for a large salary, but then also for a percentage of the profits, and then also for rights to the movie after a certain number of years had passed. So like after 10 years or whatever, he owned it.
Really?
So he owned the rights to the movie. And that was a reason why, like, there was, I don't know what was going on, if he wasn't paying attention or he didn't like it or whatever, but it didn't get shown in a lot of places after he owned it because they needed his rights and he didn't care what anyone thought. He was just like, either told them to screw off or didn't answer the phone, right? I mean, he was just, but it eventually passed to Nancy Sinatra, and she eventually agreed to make the movie in 2004, many decades after. but he had it written in his contract also, like he was paid like almost twice the budget of the movie is just to pay Frank Sinatra for appearing in the movie. And he also got all the other things on top of that.
Yeah.
And in his contract, it was stipulated that he was to do only one take for every scene. He's one take Sinatra. He was only one take. He doesn't want to
Oh, wow.
be there all day. He doesn't want to do so. I mean, Denzel Washington was better, but Denzel probably also did more than one take. Like,
Yeah.
so,
Yeah.
I mean,
He's the consummate actor.
well, Frank Sinatra was just showing up, playing the role, and then going home. Like he was, literally one, like all those scenes, one take, and that's it. And he's out.
Yeah. Sinatra's like the original main character energy, right?
The producer tries to say, "Oh no, but and he's like, nope. Take a look at my contract."
Yeah.
Sorry, director, you had one shot. And actually, there's one moment in the movie that was a little out of focus. Like it's hard to notice. Like if you're watching it, there's one moment. I was reading about all the trivia on this. There's one moment that's a little bit fuzzy, and they didn't notice at first when they did it, but then later when they're putting the movie together, the director's like, "Oh no, it's this one scene is out of focus. I can't believe. Oh, I have to reshoot this scene." And then Sinatra said, "No, just
wow,
use that scene."
Not interested in another.
Yeah, no, I'm not going back. I'm busy. I got there's things to do. I got a show. Like I got Dean Martin to hang out with. Like I'm busy. Like I got mob guys to like do business with. I don't have time to go do reshoots. What the hell is this? Grade 4, class pictures? No, I don't think so. Yeah, but to me, these movies were they weren't terrible. I'm not going to say they're terrible, but they were muddled. Okay, like both had plot points that were muddled. So I'm just going to take a couple minutes and go through them, how muddled they were.
Okay.
So 1962 version, it's called the Manchurian Candidate. Mm-hmm. So the candidate is actually a minor character in this film, and that person was never in Manchuria. So there has to be a different candidate other than the candidate who's the candidate in the film. So that part, right? Okay. So the plot also, at many points, it suffers from the need to bend around the need for the star, that's Frank Sinatra, to appear heroic and important. That's what I found when I watched it, is that there were too many moments where it was like you could have done it in another way that made the story flow better, but because you have this great big star in Frank Sinatra that needs to look very, very heroic, everything has to happen on him. Nothing important happens unless it's him doing it, like all of those things. So it suffered from that, right? In my opinion. Marco, which was Frank Sinatra's character, he could have stopped Shaw. That was the other character who's the one being mind controlled. He could have stopped Shaw from doing the execution at the end of the movie, because he's got him in his apartment. He's talking to him. He knows that he's got this mind control problem, right? He's gonna do what they tell him to do, like he knows about this, and he lets him go anyway. And he's like, well, I guess I gotta, like it's this weird sense that he's got to do it the right way. Like Batman can't just, go find the Joker now. He's got to wait for the Joker to commit a crime or something, right? And it's this weird sense that I think maybe made more sense in 1962, but it's a lot more muddled now, right? So also muddled, like the method they came up with as a means of activating the control mechanism of the hypnotized person being mind controlled. It was a little too commonplace, and they even showed this in the movie, where there's a moment where someone in a bar says the words and he sort of becomes temporarily mind controlled, and the one guy says, I think the one lady says, go take a walk in a lake, and he goes to the lake to go walk in the lake, kind of thing, right? And it's like this moment where I think they're trying to show how this hypnosis thing isn't foolproof. But in doing so, they also kind of showed that it was also kind of hokey. Like it's It's got this weird vibe, and I thought that was kind of off. Um, we never get a real explanation for how Shaw is able to overcome the hypnotic mind control in the final scene. So he goes and he does what he's supposed to do, except that he shoots the wrong people. And by the way, the people he shoots are his own mother and his stepfather. So it's like, okay, well, in this sense, like he's able to override the mind control, but then only enough to like shoot them instead. But that's his mother. Like, I don't know. As much as she's the bad person in the movie, like that's
Mhm.
still his mom. Like, I don't know. I don't I don't know if I could shoot my mom, even if she was trying to take over the government. I might turn her in, but I don't know if I could shoot her. Like that seems the whole
Well,
thing seems a little off. I don't know.
yeah. She also stole his only chance at love,
Well, okay, yeah, but he
right?
killed that woman. I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
Yeah,
he's understanding that her part in it. I don't know. So for me, when I
maybe.
watched the first movie, it seemed like it seemed plausible that Ben or Marco, his attempt to deprogram Shaw was when he's saying like, listen, anyone says anything to you about solitaire or whatever it is, he's like, you tell them it's over, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I I almost thought, like as I was watching it, I thought Shaw was going through the steps because he knew that was what was expected of him, but he was not planning on committing the hit. But yeah, I mean, he was somewhat robotic, as if he was in a trance state. So it is a really good question you bring up. How did he defeat the programming, or was
yeah,
it just that the programming had eroded to a point that the programming was now not
yeah.
as
That's
tight as it once was, right?
those are all things the audience is left to imagine, right? Which is
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
it leaves it as a
And
sort of
Ben,
this weird sense. Yeah.
yeah, and Ben pulling out more and more queens, right? I was just like, oh fuck, he's a master of this shit now. Like
The
he's
whole
just,
deck is got.
yeah, he's like, yeah, exactly. Now what's gonna? It's just like, man,
Yeah.
I had to laugh when I watched that. I was like,
Yeah, I mean the idea that he just sort of gets over it or something is a movie trope that's trotted out in many different forms and things like like when we watched The Matrix, we didn't talk about it, but the hokiest part of The Matrix is in the first movie when uh Neo dies and then Trinity is inside the ship and she's telling him all about how she never loved anyone except for him, and then this is somehow the thing that brings him back to life, and it's like, you know, this sense that true love finds a way or something, and it's okay. Which but it also reminded me a lot of the um Star Wars episode 3 thing. Sorry, also spoilers for Star Wars, but the idea that she died of a broken heart, right? Like this idea has been torn to pieces on the internet forever. But yeah, that her heart broke and it killed her. Like, okay, all right, can we agree that people's bodies don't work this way? I don't know. Yeah, that left me with this a lot of weird parts of this. It didn't make sense. So right, but then we're gonna fix all those in 2004, right?
to some
Seems like
degree, it's tightened up at the very least. Yeah.
right, okay, but there's still a couple problems with this movie, right? So right off the bat, okay, first of all, we're not really using hypnosis anymore because hypnosis is no longer scary.
Mhm.
So we moved on to microchips in the brain. Okay, whatever. All right, we're gonna get into that in the other parts that we're gonna cover here, but um, why do they have microchips in their shoulders when they also have microchips in their brains?
I don't know.
Yeah, why do they need them in their shoulders? Like, you got a
Just
chip in
it
this
was.
guy's brain. Like,
I
what
think
is
for
this, a
that.
backup? Like,
Yeah, but just as a plot device, that was like a sinister commonality between the two of them. That for both of
yeah,
them to discover about themselves is like, I've been tampered with. It's the first clue that something is really, really going on.
yeah,
Aside
yeah,
from, like, you're having dreams. Well, dreams are dreams, but to find a piece of metal that defies any explanation of what the technology is like the real, okay, now we know sinister actors with a level of sophistication we don't understand are at play and they're using us. We just don't know how yet, but we must continue the chase to find out what this all means.
Yeah. Yeah. Also, he lost that first chip out of his shoulder that he pulled out of his shoulder in the sink, in the
Yeah,
bathroom sink. And anyone who's done any level of home maintenance knows that you can just take apart the little dippy part that for first in there. You can get that thing. It's right there. Just
yeah,
don't keep flushing water through there. Like,
that's right.
yeah,
You're
yeah.
not a 4-year-old.
He had a he could have gone to get it right there. Like, and he's
Yeah.
looks like he's like 40 years old. I think he should know this by now. I don't know. Like,
Although, if you look at his mental
you never
state,
had
the
to
way
take
he was
hair out of one of
juggling
those
that
things.
knife.
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. What were we saying?
No, I just said, like, I remember that scene, and his mental state was so disordered, the way he was like fumbling the knife around in the
Yeah.
sink, and I was just like, what the hell's going on? Like, the wheels are coming off on this guy. But that was, I mean, hey, he
He's
wasn't
kind of
thinking
freaked
clearly,
out,
and he
and
has an onlooker who is, why is this guy doing this in my bathroom? He's a stranger.
when you
So,
imagine that she's not a CIA agent or whatever she is, then
yeah,
you're imagining that she thinks that he's on drugs or something, right? Like,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
a drug that he just dropped and went down there, and he's looking to get it. Like, I don't know.
But still, the guy's special forces, he should at least understand the whatever, that
I
S
know.
joint in the sink.
He's lived in civilian life for 20 years since the Iraq War. Like, it's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
like, I don't know. Never
Oh
had to.
well.
I don't know. Whatever. Okay, I can let that go, I guess. Okay,
Yeah.
some people don't know that, but like, we have a scene where Marco, Denzel Washington's character, has electroshock treatments. Okay, right, but it doesn't appear to have stopped him from being controlled later in the story.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the point of the electroshock treatments? Why did the plot have him receive them if it didn't change his sort of vulnerability to getting mind controlled? Like, that scene is completely unnecessary
Mm-hmm.
unless it does something for him, and it appears to do nothing for him. Like,
Or to him, really. I mean,
well,
aside
yeah,
from the pain and discomfort in that moment,
he had a day where he didn't remember. Yeah, he woke up and he was kind of disoriented. Like, but
yeah.
this didn't. Yeah, I don't
I
understand.
mean, they're
this scene
making
at
him
all.
do it, right? So he's under some thumbs, right? Like the military thumbs are saying, well, now you have to get this treatment, and now you have to do this. And so
No,
he's
that's his
struggling.
friend that did the treatment. Like, he
Oh,
goes to his friend that knows he takes a second chip to him,
mm-hmm.
and he has
Yeah.
a second chip, and he looks under a microscope, and he's like, oh, this is crazy technology. And then he's like, oh, well, and he's like, oh, I need this help with this thing. Like, can you do this for me? And he's like, well, okay, sure, I'll do it for you. And then he gives him the electroshock treatments.
Okay.
And I'm like, oh, but this guy's obviously trying to deprogram him. He's the guy that he opens up to about the fact that he has the chip in his shoulder.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't super clear to me when I
Yeah.
watched it, like what the
Yeah, I know.
purpose was. So I didn't
it's
catch that.
totally unnecessary. That I'm here to tell you that your confusion is justified. It's totally unnecessary.
Thank you.
Yeah, and also, why I also don't feel like we needed to cover up Marco's part in the assassination at the end of the film. I don't know, like, is Marco so important? Like, we're talking about the CIA and they want to uncover this or whatever. They want to show that this is a thing, but they don't want to show it's a thing. Apparently they don't want anyone to know that anyone could ever be mind controlled. Like, that whole part, like, why didn't they just arrest him and then expose the real plot? I don't know. Like,
Well, okay, so maybe you had planned on talking about this, but one thing that kind of stood out to me was the like, in both movies, these things are done to these soldiers against their will. It's where that's coming from that differs so greatly in both movies. In the first movie, it's the Russians have captured them, and they're using this as a way to attack the U.S. government and destabilize them, right? Whereas in the second movie, the call's coming from inside the house. It's his own government doing this to him as part of their their psyops, or whatever you call that, when they're just doing crazy shit to their soldiers, right? So
yeah.
they're you would need a cover-up in the second movie. Otherwise, you expose the fact that the CIA or the military or whoever, they're just out there team killing their own people and using them up to, for nefarious ends. So.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll get
That's
into
where
that.
I see.
I think that'll come up in part 2 of these 2 episodes we're going to do about this. We'll see.
Sure.
So I have a couple clips, as I do. I got they last week last time we did this, when I did some clips, they noticed, and there was but they let me do the clips and have them in there as long as I wasn't making money, which is whatever. I'm not making money on this.
We have some latitude for now.
Yeah. YouTube was like, hey, I noticed that thing you did, and I will come after you if you step too far out of line.
Yeah.
Money is for other people, not for you, sir. Okay, so I picked 3 aspects of these 2 movies to kind of look at as directly relating to aspects of conspiratorial thinking. Okay, so the first of these is our old friend, decision paranoia. We talked about in a previous episode, but one of the primary fears that drives conspiracy thinking is the idea that our decisions can be unduly affected by nefarious entities. As these fears become exaggerated in the conspiratorial mind, they can look like and become complete and total mind control. The idea, like we mentioned before, the idea that if they can influence any one decision, they could potentially influence all the decisions in some kind of totalizing idea. So this greatly assists conspiracists in believing that nameless FBI agents are probably working to cover up crimes or to actually commit crimes for political candidates. Maybe the Secret Service are doing that too. Thinking of mind control as a storytelling mechanism greatly opens up the field for variations that become plausible as far as explaining how negative influence can achieve some conspiratorial plan. So as far as like explanatory glue, mind control is an incredible piece of explanatory glue. If you're going to talk about things like the Butler shooting in Pennsylvania in July of 2024, for example, the idea that the person who did this was under mind control greatly assists a lot of ways that you could say, well, of course this has happened this way, and of course there's no trail, and of course there's no realistic parts of this young boy's life that might lead you to think that he wants to change politics in this way. It's because he's under mind control. And of course, the Secret Service are going to assist in this as a fake shooting because they're under mind control. They're just mind control. Look at them; they look like drones, don't they? Don't the Secret Service look like drones? They're all like the same color suit and the dark glasses and everything.
Expressionless, yeah.
Yeah. They always look like they're scanning the audience, like the Terminator or something. So, pardon me, what was that? So we're going to look at one of these clips that look at this. Let's see if this.
Thank you. Of course, as soon as this or any task is completed, you will already have forgotten that it ever actually took place. Probe going in now. As good. Excellent. Releasing implant. There, that wasn't so bad, was it, Raymond?
No, sir.
It's good. No decay, no slippage. Everything seems to be in flawless working condition.
So that was a clip from the later of the two movies of the microchip being inserted in the brain. Very vivid. I thought this guy who's playing the doctor in this kooky doctor, he was so perfect. He was maybe the best performance to me out of both movies. He feels like he is the clinic. Like he feels like these procedures that he's doing, and he's so calmly explaining them as he's drilling holes in a person's head. It feels like he thinks they're just puppets, and that's definitely the impression I get. And that obviously was what they were going for in the film. These are just puppets. These are toys. These are wind-up toys. They're going to do what you need them to do. And of course, the imagery with the probe entering the brain and everything. It's just a picture. It's just an animation, but it is come together and it makes it feel real that someone's is getting this chip in their brain. Of course, what it's doing when it's there is also like neuroscience. When you really look into it, will tell you there's no single point in the brain you could put a chip that will really allow you to control what's happening. Yeah. That's not how the brain works. You'd have to put chips. You have to put 10,000 chips in there, and even then you might not have enough, right? It would be, the entire, just replace the brain with.
We'll talk to Elon Musk and see what they're up to over at Neuralink there.
I'm sure that he's on the case. Yeah, but
they're getting there.
this provides a plausible story. What seems to be a plausible story for the idea that, you can see it. It's this chip. It's chip in the brain, and of course, a lot of people thought that vaccines were going to be chips inside people for this exact thing during the pandemic. Where I don't know where they thought the chips were. Were they in the syringe? Like, I don't understand. I don't know.
It's weird. They're
the explanation was never forthcoming. It was never a thing where they were going to exactly explain all the details, all the clinical details of exactly how it worked. They were just, oh no, chips, man, microchips.
Yeah.
Microchips. Pets get them all the time. Microchips. Yeah.
Just liquid-borne microchips, no less. Free-floating, unassociating.
Nanites just in your blood, man. Yeah. Okay. That's the answer. You just...
They get props for creativity, that's for sure.
Right. But, this idea that these technologies will allow someone to completely control all the movements and motions and decisions of another person, that's the fear. That's one of the central fears at the heart of this, always.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you also look at how pliable Shaw was. Like he's conversational with the doctor while the doctor's opening his brain and the doctor's telling him what he's doing.
He gets that creepy smile on his face, which I thought was a nice touch. Yeah. This creepy vacant smile, like, I'm doing good here, aren't I? His head is held perfectly in place so that the probe goes in at the right spot.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's but that's the way it appears to those who are really deep in this. So the next point here, I have the wrong window open. I'll close that. The next point is, have you ever heard of a thing that's called psyops, Patrick?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Psychological ops, the idea that in warfare, the idea is that you portray a falsehood. You portray something to the enemy that they think is going to be true, and then they're going to make a decision based on thinking it's true, and that's going to give you an advantage, right? That's generally how this thing started, which is like the ruse, right? The military ruse. But of course, this idea now is, as far as information warfare, is that parts of society are fake, parts of our life are fake, and this fakeness is meant to make you think that certain things are real, so that you make different decisions, or you're in some way not taken seriously, maybe, or to discredit you. I mean, these sorts of things are in the atmosphere now as ideas. So psyops is one of the major things that a lot of conspiratorial people talk about. So and they come up in this movie. So things like Gulf War syndrome, they become part of the narrative of the second of these films, right? The film didn't have this exact factor. It didn't, you know, they hadn't thought of psyops then, I guess. I don't know. It's
Well, they didn't mention it or refer to it. Yeah.
Not in the film, but I think as a thing that people in society think about, they weren't as much of a factor. And I think if you tried to do that in that film with all the other things that were muddling it, you would just muddle it further and it would be less comprehensible. So yeah, but in the second of these films, it includes a thing that's called Gulf War syndrome. So it's part of the narrative to explain how it is that it's so easy for people surrounding our protagonist to dismiss his rantings, right? It becomes a thing that you know about but can dismiss, and that's the psyop. So to a conspiracist, this is the method for reality inversion, right? So if Gulf War syndrome exists and we're using it to dismiss people, then Gulf War syndrome is actually a thing that's meant to do that. And everyone who's had Gulf War syndrome probably had something else much more important happen to them. So they just invert that whole thing. Okay. So to them, Gulf War syndrome isn't actually an epidemic of PTSD and or maybe exposure to chemical weapons, but instead a rumor spread by one of the three-letter agencies, or maybe like all of them, that you shouldn't believe the insane stories you hear from soldiers who return from places like the Iraq War.
They're just ill.
They're just, you've heard about this. It was on Dateline, right? Like, you heard about this. This is
and if you don't know the specificity of it, that's because that's part of the syndrome. Right?
Yeah,
like it's just an umbrella of problems that just, if you were in the Gulf War.
Someone saw something weird in the Gulf War. That was Gulf War syndrome. It becomes a way to shunt away the evidence. According to conspiracists, it becomes a way to shunt away the evidence.
Hey, I want to say, if anyone's watching the video, I'm not crying. I think I'm coming down with something, so my eyes are getting a little weepy. So I'm okay. The audio listeners have no idea but I've just been constantly like wiping tears out of my eyes, but I'm okay.
Okay, all right.
So,
all right. Thanks for the
Gulf War syndrome, psyops. Yeah.
I just for my part, I wasn't worried.
Okay, good.
So, okay.
Patrick's he's really touched by these psyops.
Really, yeah. I mean, the probe in the brain really got to him.
Yeah, that's right. Getting all self-conscious over here.
Yeah. So let's play the clip here.
All right.
I have it here. Yeah.
What happened to you after you were captured? Black helicopters, secret laboratories, mad scientists, mind drugs, shock torture, and Raymond Shaw.
You don't believe any of it, do you?
It's crazy.
It sounds crazy, doesn't it?
It sounds
That's
crazy.
what they wanted me to think, too. That's exactly what they want you to think.
That's what they want you to think, too. That's exactly what they want you to think. They want you to think that it's just insanity. That's it.
That kind of like ties back to the decision paranoia, where like if you can't trust any of your decisions because whatever you're thinking is what they want you to think,
they're going to tell you. Yeah, even if you don't have a chip in your brain, they're going to tell you that the things you saw that you think are part of a conspiracy are just you experiencing Gulf War syndrome and you're crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this lends explanatory power to conspiracy ideas because they get this new mechanism that they get to use to warp the shape of it to fit the thing that they want to be true, which is undoubtedly that the government is out to get them. Conspiracy theories are also just horror films, right? They just want a big bad enemy, and the only big bad enemy that will really fit is the government. At the end of the day, it's always the government. So, how am I doing so far? Am I off track with these, Patrick?
No, I think we're doing good. We're on track, and
I'm not coming up with ideas that don't fit. I'm not. You tell me if I was right.
Well,
that one doesn't work, man. Get rid of that one. Like, why'd you bring that up?
You can always rely on me to have my curiosity present. So if I don't understand something, I'm going to want to drill into it, right?
Okay.
So I trust your fluency, though, right? Like that's what I like about this is that you got a lot of fluency about these things. So it's a learning experience for me.
I'll just keep throwing words at you till it looks like you believe me.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So the third of these is the idea of controlled opposition. So this is a big deal. Well, not all conspiracists ascribe to this idea, but it is a widely held belief that sometimes the expression that governments are or leaders are selected rather than elected comes up, and sometimes the idea that the opposing political parties on two ends of the political spectrum, left and right, are as they say, two wings of the same bird. In that they're really just working together to bring us all to wherever they want to take us. So in this case, in the second of these movies, we have Manchurian Global being supposedly not connected to the one politician, and not a partisan player because they contribute money to both sides of the aisle. In this film, this is given as a reason why Eleanor Shaw receiving money from them should not be suspicious. But to a conspiracist who thinks this way, who looks at this, this becomes a sort of a head nodding. Of course they do. Of course they give money to both sides of the aisle. Of course they do, because both parties are in their pocket, right? Like this is the idea that's come up. So let's watch the clip.
Major Bennett Marco claims that this man brainwashed you.
In his dreams.
Contrived to have you win the Medal of Honor, and has you poised to be the first privately owned and operated Vice President of the United States.
Sir, I've already spoken with Ben Marco. Unfortunately, he's not a well man.
He's delusional.
Nevertheless, he's pulled from his mad hat some remarkably lucid connections between his dreams of your exploits in Kuwait and this Dr. Noyle and the private equity fund Manchurian Global, your mother's primary political benefactor for the past 15 years.
Oh, come on, Tom. They contribute to half the Senate, both sides of the aisle.
Both sides of the aisle.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this exact notion is also given in the older of the two films. I couldn't find a clip that sort of succinctly showed it in a nice, tidy, 46 seconds like that was. But I will note that the one side is hypnotizing them to mind control them, and then in a plot twist near the end, which also seems kind of muddled when you don't know what's going to happen, Murder She Wrote lady is giving the key words to do the mind control on her own son, because she knows the key words. She's in on the scam. They're communist and she's anti-communist, and they are working together to do something, get someone elected, and it's bringing this idea is that there isn't like different sides working on this. There's just the two sides that we think of as two sides are just one side. They're just one side. And that's the conspiracy notion that comes up, is that all of them are in it together, as in all the politicians that are only appearing to oppose each other in public They don't really
Right.
oppose each other. They shake hands and share cigars afterward or whatever. What a good show they did, just like wrestling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Um,
Two puppets putting on a fight, but this is the
Yeah.
same puppeteer, right?
Right. I wasn't able to get a clip of a scene from the original movie, but I did capture this image, and I'm going to throw it on here, and we're going to describe it for our audio only listeners here. So here we go. Yeah. So why don't you sort of tell me what you see here, Patrick?
I see them raising. I remember this scene, where they're raising the two banners of the candidates before they're about to have that convention.
Yeah. And so I've put them on the screen. I screenshotted it in two places, and I put them both on the screen here, right? And you're right. The top one is a moment late in the film in the 1962 version where they're getting ready for the convention, and they're going to announce the presidential, vice presidential candidates, and they got one picture of each, one on the left, one on the right, and they're very large. And of course, the movie's in black and white, so they're kind of grayscale or whatever. But they're very large. They're taking up the entire left to right of the screen and the upper half of the screen.
Yeah.
Then below that is a screenshot from earlier in the film. And this is sort of like the Communist Garden Party, where they're displaying their hypnotic control over the soldiers. And to demonstrate that they're communists, they have pictures of two prominent communist leaders from 1962. You have Joseph Stalin on the left, and you have Mao Zedong on the right. And they are taking up more or less the screen left to right. They are in the top half of the screen. They're more or less the same size as the pictures of the two presidential and vice presidential candidates in the other screen. And to me, this is like a nod to this idea that they're the same. They're just the same. They're meant to be the same. They're the things that the one are doing are just the same as the thing the other are doing. The imagery, the ways that they go about it. It's and I thought this was, when I caught this, I thought this was kind of clever. And I thought, maybe it's a coincidence, but I don't know. These people who made these films, especially in 1962, when film was very difficult to get together and make and cut together, I don't think they put these things in this way by accident. I think this whoever the director was knew what he was doing, and
could be. But on the other hand, I think that, like, if they just really wanted to drive home the point that these soldiers are so far into their hypnosis that they're just comfortably sitting in front of, like, communist dictators without any problem, right? Like, it's, I don't know. I don't know. I don't necessarily see
that they're shown on the screen here in roughly the same size, in roughly the same half of the screen, like in the same part of the screen, right? Similar distance apart, showing them side by side. I mean, in the scene, you're right. It might have been in part to show us that they're indoctrinated to the communist ways or whatever. But
if the viewer wasn't picking up on the subtext of what the person was talking about, the guy, he's describing what the soldiers, but like back then, I'm sure everybody watching this movie, all the Americans, knew those two images of those leaders, because
we know
it was
them
just
now.
part of the propaganda machine. You do. I might not have passed that history test, but
well, I think a lot of people, when I said the name, for audio only listeners, I'd be interested to see, when I mention Joseph Stalin and Mao Zedong, do you have a picture in your mind of who they were? Like, these were
that's a good question.
Prominent people who did use their image as ways of using a propaganda in their respective nations, right? And which was also probably part of what they're going for here, where they're like, yeah, they did, but also we do it too. Like, don't convince yourself, like, don't kid yourself to think that we're so much better than them in some way in this way, because the Americans are doing it too, right? It's the same thing, really. It's the same thing.
Yeah. I see
yeah.
that.
So I caught that. I thought it went well with the idea of controlled opposition as this nod that the filmmakers are, in my opinion, making toward the idea that these are similar sets of people working together for a common goal. And this is not, this isn't how it works, like this.
No,
maybe they sometimes do work together on some things, little bits here and there, pieces of legislation and that.
Yeah.
But you can't.
There
really
could be
say
points
that,
of connection, but how would you be a human living in this world if that was the entire thing? Was this production on such a grand scale involving so many people?
Yeah, because you still have to let one of them, hold the conch, as they say, right? Be the one with the actual power. Like, there was a lot of controlled opposition rhetoric that was happening around the time of the 2016 election with Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump, because their families were friendly. They were friendly. The Clintons and the Trumps, they knew each other well. They did dinner together, like, as regularly as people of that, ilk have dinner together. I don't know exactly how often, but, like every once in a while, right? Well enough that they were photographed together regularly, right? So people brought this idea up, and this idea of controlled opposition. But what would convince Hillary to say, yeah, okay, Donald, you can have this one? Like, who in their right mind thinks Hillary went through all the things she went through to just say, yeah, you know what, you can have it. You can have this one. Like, I don't think so.
Like,
I mean, if it were Donald Trump being there and she won, you'd have a better case. But
it's like the people that believe that have just never ever gone through anything in their life where they parted company with someone, had a difference of opinion, where it's just like, well, we're not going to get along anymore, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's, if you see that happening, why wouldn't that actually just be the case, right? Like, they got along once upon a time, but Donald Trump wanted something, right, and saw a way
Hillary
to get
Clinton
it.
was in his way to get it.
Exactly.
Like, so these ideas are faulty at their core, but people are viewing real media that can lead them to the idea that they're real. I mean, a major gripe I have about the progression of these, actually, you know what? That'll be in part 2.
Okay.
That'll be in part 2. I have a major gripe about the progression of these, but that's all going to come up in part 2 of this 2 episodes we're going to do about this.
It's too big for the time left in part 1.
Yeah, no, I don't want to get into it. We're almost an hour in, so with that, I think we'll do the things we got to do here. So there won't be another movie next, because we're going to do Manchurian Candidate next. But I will say that we might discuss it, but I want the next movie to be Dark City.
Okay. I'm not familiar with it at all.
City. Really? Oh, that'll be fun. That'll be super fun. Dark City is a great movie. It's one of those gems. It's a movie everyone should really see. But
it sounds
that won't
dystopian.
It is. That's the dystopian sci-fi. That's the heart of the target right there. But the next of these on film episodes will be the second half of the Manchurian Candidate, and maybe I'll change my mind about Dark City being next. I don't know. I'm also thinking about Elysium. I don't know.
Okay.
But please send us your comments and your complaints and your concerns too. Comments.
What's the email for that?
truthandrestricted@gmail.com. And if you're in the in crowd that knows me on Facebook, you can just tag me on Facebook, or send me an instant message on Facebook or whatever. And on Twitter, Spencer G. Watson. On Blue Sky, I'm Spencer Watson, but I have trouble with Blue Sky. It's just not good enough. Sorry.
As an app, or
yeah. Well, it's. I mean, Twitter, I can follow people and I have a timeline and I can stop. Like I might only have a couple minutes and I might look at a couple and scroll through and I can see that I'm whatever 10 hours behind or whatever. And then I can just stop there and just close it and then come back hours later and then start exactly where I left off and just keep scrolling up.
Right.
And I get everything in the order it was left for me.
Right.
Yeah. But
I like that too about it.
Blue Sky doesn't have that capability. So I always have to start at the most recent thing.
Oh, I
start
see.
Scrolling down in the reverse order from where they were. And I'm like, or I have to like scroll really quickly to the last moment I could read. And I'm like, well, okay, that's annoying. And also sometimes it's a whole day before I get back. And so it's like, okay, well, like
especially if you're following a bunch of people, like how would that work?
Yeah.
You'd have to go and find each person and get where you were in their timeline.
Well, I mean, my timeline is all of them in the order that they posted, right?
Yeah.
Except that it doesn't start from where I left off. It starts always from the freshest. And it's like, okay, whatever. Facebook does the same thing. I was like, okay, whatever. But also I kind of hate that about Facebook too. So screw you, Facebook. Do better. I mean, it has a couple other problems. It won't let you do group chats. There's no audio spaces. I mean, it has a lot of catching up to do if it wants to really compete with Twitter. It can get there, I think, but it's just not there yet. But I mean, I go there once in a while and I check out a couple things, but I spend more time on Twitter. It also
I heard
has
it's
more
strong for the science community.
Yeah,
a lot of the science communities on Blue Sky
for the groups and everything. You can get but and there's it's easier to control people who are trying to troll you. So for that, but I'm interested in studying the crazies, right?
And then you need Twitter.
They're all on Twitter. It's a petri dish. I'm a biologist. And that's a petri dish, and I am looking through my microscope at the specimens in the petri dish. That's so. Yeah,
you're wiping your keyboard afterwards, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm protected by the microscope. I'm not in the petri dish. That would be disgusting.
Still,
but I need every once in a while. I need to take a swab of something, and then I test it some other way. Like I need to. I need lab stuff. I need samples to test. Otherwise, I'm not doing anything.
Yeah.
I don't learn anything about what these crazy people are doing or saying.
Yeah. And they're free to do and say what they want there.
They make full use of that. So you can find me on Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter. All of those things. This podcast also on YouTube. You can go there and you can follow me on YouTube. What is my YouTube handle? I think it's just Spencer Watson.
Spencer Watson,
Yeah. I got there before the other Spencer Watsons. Yeah.
You didn't have to pull off that Spencer Watson 2351.
No, I stupidly didn't go to Twitter right away, so I had to be Spencer G. Watson. Yeah. But whatever.
Cool.
So, and if there's any other Spencer Watsons who happen to listen to this, what the fuck you doing with your life, man?
Get a grip.
Come on, man. Come off it.
Yeah.
All right. So with that, we'll sign off.
All right. Cheerio. Yeah, you bet.